all of you here are engineers. I can call myself as a journalist, not journalist, generalist, Generalist. I am not an engineer. I have done my post-graduation from Hyderabad Central University, very nearby, about nearly 30 years ago. I fondly remember that I used to travel on this route from Mehdipatnam on a bus called 16U, which used to go into the campus of Hyderabad Central University. And I used to watch very few developments that happened at that time on this road. One of them was the Engineering Staff College, the board. I don't know whether all the buildings were in place that time. I don't think so. I'm very happy for ESCI for taking up these different kinds of verticals activities and also programs like this, and having invited me here today for this national seminar. I will be concentrating, I will not be very long. I see that the other dignitaries, other speakers are here already. I will be throwing some light from the government perspective, what the state government has been doing, what the government of India contemplates to do in infrastructure management. And very briefly, I'll mention some of these topics. You might be knowing that governments over a period of time have moved from the socialism point of view to a capitalistic mode of governance. Initially, when you mean socialism, the government was involved in all the developments, whether infrastructure or otherwise. So you had the public sector undertakings taking up most of the developments. The building of the steel frame, as Pandit Nehru was calling, that was a public sector undertaking, and all the governance mostly was done through the overarching government structure. But over a period of time, you know that socialism, due to its inherent problems, was abandoned, or socialism still as an ethos is still there with the governments, I think more so with our government. But then due to the realism that has dawned on the government, so we moved into a more realistic post-socialism structure into the current capitalistic mode. United States of America has done it much earlier. USSR, our group captain was mentioning about the disintegration of USSR, one of the reasons being that socialism had bred also inefficiency, so therefore there was a lot of confusion within the government, so that disintegrated, and now all of these governments have adopted capitalism. So when we talk about capitalism or moving towards capitalism, it also means that the government has a minimal role in development by itself. It will be playing more role of a facilitator. So that is what now the state governments or the government of India are doing, and as part of that, infrastructure development is a major component out of that. How we facilitate infrastructure development in the private sector, even if government is taking up, then how ultimately it is leading to some kind of private sector development. Specifically about our state government, the government of Telangana, I represent an organization called Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. This is not a new organization, this is an offshoot of the earlier Andhra Pradesh Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. You know, bifurcation after 2014, when the new state of Telangana was created, there is a new setup of the Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. So we have a Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation separately for Telangana. The main role that TSIIC plays is the development of industrial parks all across the state, and then giving it to the entrepreneurs, to the investors who would be setting up their industry in the state. And I am very glad to tell you that the state government, although we are part of the state government, but then there is a government and there is a corporation. We are a company registered, and we try to work as professionally as possible. So state government has been kind enough to allot about 1.5 lakh acres of land to the Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation for development of various industries. Doesn't mean that all the 1.5 lakhs of acres of land that we have on hand, but we have identified pockets across the state, and state government through the revenue department is handing over these lands. So what we do essentially is, once we get the land, then we develop all the necessary infrastructure within the industrial park, roads, waters, sewerage, power, and make it ready for occupancy by the industry. So cutting across all the industry sectors, all the verticals of industry, we have been developed off late. Earlier there used to be general industrial parks. Now the focus is more on sector specific industrial parks. We have a Telangana industrial policy of 2014 which focuses more on sector specific development. So we have now, you must have heard about the pharmaceutical city, the pharma city as it is called in short, which is coming up on the Srisailam road at a place called Mucharla. So there it is expected to be spread over an area of 20,000 acres, close to 60-70 square kilometers. Then we have a national investment manufacturing zone at Zahirabad on the Bombay highway, close to Zahirabad. This is going to come up on another 12,635 acres to be very precise. This is a manufacturing cluster. This is as part of the national manufacturing policy of Government of India, which emphasizes development of manufacturing sector. This park is being developed and we expect a lot of funding from the Government of India. And we have acquired almost about 3,000 acres of land here, another 8,000 of acres of land for the pharma city. We have a medical devices park on the road near to Patancheru at a place called Sultanpur. This is specifically coming up for the manufacturing of medical devices, which is a growing sector again. We have an aeronautical park, aerospace park, not very far from the airport at a place called Adibatla. You must have heard. Tata Advanced Systems, the Tata Group subsidiary, they have set up their facilities there and they are taking up great jobs there, doing anything from small parts of an aircraft to big panels production there, which is now famously known as the Aerospace Park. Recently, we have had another park near Maheshwaram, which is started by, of course, we have the park belongs to Telangana government, the Telangana Industrial Corporation. We have given land of 20 acres to the Adani Group, and they have started the manufacturing of the unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs as they are called. So these UAVs production is already started in Hyderabad, which is the first of its kind. They have tied up with a big manufacturer called Elbit from Israel, who are the pioneers in UAVs. So that kind of a facility has come up. We have a textile park coming up near Warangal, 150 kilometers from Hyderabad, an area of 1,200 acres of land with an investment of close to 2,000 acres, 2,000 crores. Pharma City, the investment size is about 16,000 crores. NIMS Zahirabad is another 10,000 crores. So what I mean to impress upon you is that government in its own way is contributing to this infrastructure development in the state. So the Government of India also, most of these projects are funded by Government of India as well. We have a food park near Khammam, which is called a mega food park, which is coming up, which has come up on 100 acres of land. Again, we have about 200 crores invested in that. So on and so forth. We have all the industries coming up in Telangana. Speakers earlier, Mr. Shekhar Reddy was mentioning about how the student community, the engineers have to be industry ready. That is the core of your success in the future. And if you are not able to multitask, multitask is the byword now in the industry, and if you are only confined to a particular specialization, it may not work. You have to be specialized in a particular area and also be able to multitask in other areas also. Then the rate of success for an engineer, for a student would be much more than in the normal course. Opportunities beckon you all over. As I said, government is playing the role of a facilitator. Post 90s, when this liberalization was taken up and the license permit Raj, everything was centered around government giving licenses, permits. That was liberalized again thanks to one of our own Telugu person, P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu, who was the Prime Minister. So post the liberalization, a lot of freedom has come in for the industry to take up their activity. So that has really given a scope for development of the private sector in this country, in the state as well. So Shekhar Reddy was mentioning about how they have also taken up some of the reform, they have impressed upon the government to relax some of the guidelines, some of the rules, so that you can see all this development all around the city. Nobody expected, even when I was studying here in Central University 30 years ago, I never expected Hyderabad to go, although I've seen this, that it was a developing city, but I never expected that this would go to a certain extent. Government definitely played its role. In fact, many of these clusters which have come up, the financial district was done by the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. Many of the other projects all around the city, the land allotment was done by the TSIIC. In fact, you would be surprised to know that the present IKEA store, which is the largest in Asia, the land is allotted by the TSIIC. So we are definitely playing, the government is definitely playing the role of a facilitator. You have ample opportunities. I would also like to tell you that project management and contract management, these also provide a lot of opportunities for you. We have big consultancies, the big four, as you know, also they have a presence in Telangana, Andhra, like Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, Deloitte, all these, Arthur Anderson, all these consultancies are actively involved with the state governments in both the states, Telugu states. So you have ample opportunities there. Contract management is another area. Mr. Shekhar Reddy has dwelt on that a little bit. So opportunities are tremendous, but then you'll have to hone your skills. You have to multitask. Both specialization and multitasking, they have to go hand in hand. Then the opportunities for you will be at your doorstep. Today I was reading while coming here that the IIT Hyderabad, the pay package has gone up by 130%, and I think it's the biggest pay package, average pay package in the entire country for IITs put together. Although infrastructure wise and in terms of the effects of time, it is less than the other IITs. That kind of this environment is prevalent in Hyderabad, in Telangana. So I once again thank the ESCI and the organizers here for having invited me here, and I wish all the students here, the others who are interested in taking up career opportunities in infrastructure management, very great success. Thank you once again.